Hey guys, Gen 3D Tech here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the improved version of the Delux M800 Pro. This is the white edition of the mouse, and in this version they've improved a few things. The first thing that they improved is the mouse skates, and then the side buttons, and also the coating on the mouse. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, this is going to be a pretty short review, only because I did a extensive review on this mouse right here a couple months ago, and there's only a few improvements on the new one. But I think they're significant enough to at least cover it with another video. But as far as going in deep on this video, I'm just going to go ahead and refer to the original video. So if you haven't watched it yet, I'll have a link in the description to that video. Go ahead and watch that if you haven't yet. And I think you'll see the things that I complain about are pretty much addressed in this mouse for the most part. So the first thing is the skates. As you can see right here, a lot of people complained about the skates. In the picture, it looked like they were white skates, and these black skates are supposed to be PTFE, but they're really not very good skates at all. And they did have kind of a gray look to them initially, but that was just the covers on them. So once you pulled it off, and it revealed the black skates. Now I do have some core pads for these, which I haven't put on them yet. I had another copy of this mouse, but I went ahead and gave that away to somebody, and those had the core pads on them. But I do have some core pads for this that I'll probably swap on there. But I wanted to keep this intact so you could see the difference between the original mouse and then the new updated one. And as you can see, it does have white PTFE skates on it, and they do feel a little bit better. Now, the edges of them are kind of sharp and not rounded, and I think that would be a little bit better. I mean, these aren't the greatest skates, but they definitely feel smoother to me than the old black skates. Now, the other big difference are the side buttons. I complained about the side buttons on the black version. They're just really not very good side buttons at all. There's a lot of pre and post travel, and they're just kind of really mushy side buttons. So on the new white one, the side buttons are way more tactile. I mean, they're definitely not the best side buttons, but these are actually above average now. There's a little bit of pre-travel, post travel is minimum. Pretty much the side flex is the same, and the clicks pretty much feel the same. It still has the KL 8.0 switches in them, and the 3370 sensor. Now the other big difference is the coating. The coating on the black one definitely feels cheaper than the white one. The white one definitely has a little bit more of a premium feel to it, and I definitely prefer the coating on the white mouse. So typically a white mouse tends to weigh an extra gram or two more than a black mouse, just because of the extra weight of the paint. So for reference, we'll go ahead and just weigh the original. As you can see, it's 70 grams, which is what the box states. And then the white one, 72 grams. So they've added 2 grams of weight on this mouse. Now, no, I will say when you're holding both of these in hand, it's really hard to tell the difference between them weight wise. And build quality wise, it feels about the same, honestly. Other than the coating feels a lot better. Structurally, I think it's pretty much the same mouse. Scroll wheel feels the same. Yeah. So feel wise, it feels pretty much like the same mouse. Shape is exactly the same. Just a hair more on the weight, but it's really hard to tell the difference of those 2 grams personally. Now, as far as game performance wise, I went ahead and did about 4 hours of gaming. Again, like I said, I didn't want to dive too deep on this just because I already reviewed the other mouse, and the sensor and all the internals are pretty much the same. You just have much better side buttons, and I definitely noticed that in game, in the games that use side buttons. And I did make sure that I tested those side buttons out in game, and it was definitely a lot more responsive and easier to use. And again, as far as overall performance, the two mice are pretty much identical. The original mouse I performed really well with in game. This quasi viper shape works really well for me just because, like I said in the original video, it fits my hand pretty good, and it's definitely bigger. It's in between a regular viper and a viper mini, and this size is a really good size in my opinion. Now, this is definitely not a premium mouse, just like this wasn't. Price is also the same. The Amazon price is $49.99, but I did see this on AliExpress as low as $40. And I think there might have been some coupons there. You might have been able to get it down into the 30s. It also depends on where you're at. I know some places in Asia you could probably get this down as low as $30, which is a tremendous deal for a 3370 sensor, which is still an excellent sensor. Even though we've got the 3395 sensors out, this is still a very good performing mouse. And this mouse will for sure serve you well, especially for the price. Again, for under $50, this is definitely, in my opinion, the best wireless mouse. Now, if you want to spend a little bit more, you can go up to the Aria, which is $68. You might be able to find it as low as 50, I think, in some places, depending on what country you're in. But this is a lighter mouse, has a better sensor, better switches, better clicks. Overall, it is a much better mouse. So if you do got the money and you can find one, which is not the easiest thing because these things keep selling out, even though they do keep producing more and they come up for sale practically every couple days. They restock, but if you try hard enough, you'll probably get one of these. And then from there, you got the Lamb Zoo, which is $89, and then from there, the Pulsar X2, which is like $99. All those mice are good, but for the price, under if you got less than $50, you can't go wrong with this mouse, honestly. Unless you don't like the Viper shape or you have really large hands, then maybe look elsewhere. But for me, I actually enjoyed this mouse quite a bit, and the white one is definitely an improvement. It's just the way it feels, honestly. Like I said, the skates are definitely better. The coating feels better in the hand, and the side buttons went from being atrocious to above average. Deluxe actually did reach out to me after my first review and said that they would look into the things I complained about in my review and see if they could address some of those things in a future release. I honestly didn't think that anything other than the skates, which they definitely mentioned they were going to improve, that they would actually fix like the side buttons or the coding. But that's very cool that they did that. This mouse still isn't perfect, but I think you would have to change the mold of the mouse and some of the structural things to make any further improvements. And those are expensive things to do, and something you're probably not going to get in a revision. That would be a whole new mouse release. But I do applaud Deluxe for making those small changes in a revision. Now, if you want a black version of this mouse, I don't know for sure if the current version of the black mouse has any of the changes that this one has. it's possible that they also addressed the issues on the black version too. I'll actually reach out to Delux and ask him that question because again, there is a 2 gram difference on my scale, at least, between the two. So if that 2 grams is important to you, or you happen to like the black one more color wise, then I'm sure you'd like to know whether or not if you buy one of the new black ones, it'll have the improved coating and side buttons. And for sure it does have the new skates, but I don't think they come default on the mouse. I think you actually have to change the skates, but there's a little baggie that it comes with. On this one, it came pre-installed, and you also do get an extra set of white PTFE skates that look just like these, and so that's kind of nice. Oh, one other thing I would like to mention is there was a lot of people complaining on Amazon in the Amazon reviews that the wireless doesn't work, and that was something that I forgot. I think I forgot to mention in my first review that I ran across. That happens on both of these mice. So first off, you don't get a dongle for either one of these mice, so you have to plug it either into an existing dongle or straight into the USB port. Now I noticed that when you plug it into a dongle extender or into a USB hub, that it doesn't work. You plug it in, it detects it, but the wireless mouse doesn't work at all. I honestly thought the first one that I got was broke because I was about ready to send it back, and then I decided to plug it directly into a USB port on my PC itself, and sure enough, it works. So for some reason, I don't know why, it has trouble with USB extenders and USB hubs. So if you're having issues with this mouse, just plug it directly into one of the USB ports on the case. Now that could definitely be inconvenient because my case is underneath my desk because I have this big huge 48-inch television monitor on my desk. I don't really have room for my computer to be sitting on the desk. Plus it's also a very large full tower. So it's down there on the bottom, but I do have some front ports on the case, and signal wise it hasn't been a problem. It definitely could be a problem for you depending on how your setup is, so keep that in mind. If you buy this mouse and you need to use a USB extender, it's probably not going to work for you in that regard. So you're going to have that case within range of the mouse. And typically these wireless mice work better the closer they are. Optimally, I think you usually want to be no more than a foot away if possible. And like right now, I'm probably 2.5 feet away from where I've got the dongle plugged in. But honestly, I perform really well in game with the way that it's set up right now, and I didn't really notice a difference from other mice that are using a dongle and the adapters close by. But I wanted to let you know, just in case you're having trouble, or if you buy it and then you plug it into one of your other adapters and it doesn't work, I don't want you pulling out your hair trying to figure out what's going on. I saw other people having the same issues. I thought maybe it was just me, something to do with my hardware, but apparently it's not just me, and that's my workaround for it. Anyways guys, that's all I have for today. Hopefully you found the review enjoyable and informative. If you did, please leave a like, it always helps. And if you haven't subbed, go ahead and sub. If not, no big deal. And I'll catch you on the next one. Later.